Welcome to the RotoWire Euros DFS show. I'm talking Sunday's Spain versus England showdown final over at DraftKings. I am Adam Zdroik. You can find me at RotoZdroik on Twitter. You can also follow and find RotoWire Soccer at RotoWire Soccer. I'm going to be going over that matchup, lineups, thoughts on the game, some DFS stuff as well. Before we get there, we got some more stuff on the site. Our weekly So Rare MLS article written by Deke Matthews that is up on the cover right now. But we also got constant news happening. We got constant round-the-clock coverage of pretty much all leagues we cover here. So as you can see in the top news section, we got all this stuff going on. And we got Liga MX going on tonight as well. As you can see, we got Liga MX cheat sheets. So shouts to America getting back out there. I think this maybe it's their second Liga MX match of Apertura. So there's a bunch of Liga MX stuff going on. RotoWire.com/soccer trial, 48-hour trial to get these cheat sheets. But we also got this MLS one, which covers every game on the weekend in MLS with expected lineups, all that good stuff. But we're talking the finale, the final between Spain and England. So here we are. This is what it looks like. Again, before I get going, you can check out Jack Burkhart's Patreon, which has projections for this match. There's only one game left, but you're still going to need projections for that game. And Ryan Belangi's his suggestion was play Ollie Watkins instead of Harry Kane. That is what he told me straight from his fingertips is what he told me. So play Ollie Watkins off the bench for England. But this is what we got for lineups. Nothing too crazy here. So Spain are getting back Lenormand from his suspension. It's assumed he'll probably take the place of Nacho, who started next to Laporte in that last match for Spain. And then Carvajal is also back from his suspension. So he's going to be back at right back, taking the spot of Jesus Navas, who played admirably, we'll say, in the game against France. Otherwise, everything probably going to be the same. Dani Olmo getting the start again after Pedri. Pedri already ruled out for this game. So it's probably going to be Dani Olmo again. He went 76 minutes in that France game. So maybe minutes will be a concern for some of those Spanish guys. England, the one question will be Luke Shaw or Kieran Trippier. Trippier has basically not been 100% for the entire tournament. He came in with a bit of an issue returning from an injury. And then he's basically been subbed out for all of these matches. Only made it 45 minutes in the last game, partly because some fitness issues, partly because Luke Shaw is the real left back of this team. And I got Luke Shaw on right now, though I still think Trippier could start. The one advantage of starting Trippier is you got a little more wiggle room for how you want to look in the second half, kind of what happened against Netherlands. Maybe Trippier's having a great first half. You keep him on longer. This is in case, Trippier starts. Maybe Trippier's having a great first half. You get him on for 75 minutes, and then you get Luke Shaw the rest of the game, something like that. Or maybe he struggles. Maybe you just do 45 for Trippier again. On the opposite end of that, you have Luke Shaw, who probably can't, if he starts, he probably can't go 90 minutes given his recent injury situation. So I do think we're still in a situation where it might be 50-50 between Trippier and Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw probably is, at the end of the day, if these players are both 100% fit, Luke Shaw would be the regular starter. But given Trippier started every game prior in the tournament, I still think he's possible to start in this one. But those are pretty much the only questions. There's not really any reason to suggest that Southgate is going to go crazy with this lineup, and Spain's not going to go crazy with their lineup. It's pretty much so. That's at least good news that we can actually talk about this match, and we don't have to mention a bunch of random things happening with lineups. So that is one good thing with finals. Usually, there's not a ton of lineup rotation because we know how these teams play. Odds report that Spain are a bigger favorite than either team was in the semifinals. Spain, 38% chance to win, clean sheets at 35%. Their implied goal total, 1.21 England at 1.05. Again, this is our cheat sheet, rotowire.com/soccer trial, 48-hour trial. And if you're listening on YouTube or even Twitter, but on YouTube specifically, please give a like to this video. Please subscribe to our channel. Always helpful. Maybe you don't like my videos as much as others. Maybe you like some of our other videos more. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Just give a like to the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Always helpful. We'll see what kind of content we get upcoming for the Premier League and Champions League season. Always an unknown until a couple weeks before the season. We're working on projections. We're going to have, we always have season-long Premier League projections, but we're also this season, we're going to have La Liga season projections for the upcoming season. So that is one thing we haven't done for a couple of years now. So that'll be on the site in case you're, I don't know, I guess for your La Liga futures, for your La Liga fantasy leagues, we will have full season projections in La Liga in addition to Premier League. But let's get into this game here. For my thoughts here before the tournament, I gave out in one of our prediction articles. I said Spain 2-0 over England, and I think I'm just going to ride with that prediction. I think maybe a clean sheet might be a little difficult for Spain, given some of their defense. Given that I think that their back line is probably their biggest weakness, and I guess it's not really maybe it's not even arguable that their back line is their biggest weakness. But then you combine that with England just seemingly just finding ways to get goals late in matches. So I'll stick with the 2-0, but I think maybe 2-1 is more likely that both these teams score, that there are weaknesses for both these teams. And I think both these teams, maybe England's attack hasn't been great, but if you look through a lot of at least the last couple matches for Spain, they have, again, looked like probably the best team. Maybe not probably. They've looked like the best team throughout the tournament. They were the best team in group stages, and then they've kind of continued that run, looking like the best team in their prior games against Germany and France, to a certain extent, is what I'll say, to a certain extent. But specifically, the Germany and France games, they got in positions early. They came back from a goal down. They got the 2 goals to go above France, and then they got the equalizer against. Actually, no, they're leading against Germany, and then Germany got the second half equalizer. But if you look at those games when Spain were ahead, it was a little different in group stages against weaker competition. It was like, okay, we got the lead, but you can still go for more goals kind of thing. It wasn't the same against Georgia. They just dominated that match, which was always to be expected. But just my thoughts in this one, maybe Spain get that early lead, and they just seem to be sitting back a little more, playing a little more safer, which I don't know if is a great strategy. I mean, we've seen England get all these late goals. So that's just one thing I'll say in terms of projecting just a full domination for one of these teams. We know England aren't going to be fully dominating in this game, but I don't think Spain are going to come in and just dominate, rack up 20 shots, 5 shots for England. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think if Spain get that first goal in the first half, they're just going to play kind of safe as long as they have that lead. We're just not going to get the same opportunities. I think it was 2 shots maybe 1 shot in the second half against France, 2 shots in the second half against Germany, something like that. So a couple things there is for how you want to play in the showdown. And then the England side of it, that game against Netherlands was a little bit different, but again, they went down early, so they had to open some things up, and then they got the PK. And I mean, even at 1-1, it was still just a pretty defensive match. Before the Ali Watkins stoppage time winner, they still had 1 shot in the second half. So I'm not completely sold on England turning the corner or completely figuring things out. They had some moments when they're down a goal. Harry Kane came out and was ripping shots, kind of almost, I don't want to say anytime he got the ball, but he ripped a couple shots. He ripped one from 35 yards out. It ended up being on target, but, I pulled up his stat log, ended up with about a 5-point floor, only finished with a PK shot and that shot from 35 out. So, it looked like went down to goal. England looked like a real team, I guess you could say. But so You can look at it a couple ways. Maybe the pressure of Spain opens up for a counterattacking goal from England, and England score first, or this game will probably go as Spain will be on the front foot early in the match. They get Carvajal back, so that's not going to be an issue where Jesus Navas is getting roasted a little bit on that on that right wing. They're going to yell the zone. Spain got the win. So just a couple things to look at from that perspective. I think that it's more likely, though it's not. I don't want to say it's likely, but maybe more likely that it's going to be an England clean sheet than a Spain clean sheet. Uh, maybe maybe I'm making stuff up here. Maybe that's not a good projection, but the way that England have played, um, again, I'll say the 2-0 for Spain. I will be on the Spain side, but England are continuing to find a way. The problem is in DFS is that doesn't mean we're going to get massive floors. We looked at that the England Netherlands match in the second half, just really nothing happened. So can that happen again? I think it could definitely happen again. Though if this game is level, I think we're just going to get more floor points from Spain. I think is kind of what it comes down to. If England are winning, we're obviously not going to get floor points from them. If it's level, I still don't think we're going to get floor points from England. If England are down, that's when we get floor points from them. So you kind of got to build your rosters around if you think Spain are going to get that first half goal, and then what's going to happen there. So do you want that first half goal? A lot of people were bashing Rada in that last match, ended up getting the assist. Ended up being taken out by a photographer in that one, but he's been training and should be good for his usual 60, 70 minutes. So maybe you get this first Spain goal. All right, I'll talk cash games. I'm just talking about a little bit of everything here in terms of tournaments. So in terms of cash games, looking here through price doesn't really matter. So do you need to actually go down to Luke Shaw as a captain? Probably not. At the end of the day, I don't think we're going to have an issue with price just because unless you're like, okay, unless you come in like, yeah, I want to play Harry Kane in cash. I want to play Nico Williams. I want to play Jude Bellingham in cash. Unless you come in with that mindset, then I don't think there's a real reason to go to spend. You don't even have to spend all your money. But speaking of the last couple showdowns, we're now back in the range of almost everyone is in play outside of okay, you can still play your center backs, but I think everyone is kind of an option here. We mentioned Declan Rice and Kobe Mino in that last game, and I think Kobe Mino had maybe one of the better floors. I guess he 5.7 points in that one. Ended up going 97 minutes, which I think is important because he played so well that he stayed on the pitch that long. 5.3 for Declan Rice. Maybe we get a game where there's no floors and the central midfielders are better placed. But those guys are cheaper than your Rodriguez, than your Fabian Ruizes. So I think you can go down and be fine with it. Rodriguez at 9K, which is just kind of an extreme price. Sorry, I'm looking. Okay, that was a captain price. Rodriguez now down to 6K. Now that makes more sense because Rodriguez just hasn't really been getting forward much. We can see that for those French numbers, but again, Spain had 6-7 shots against France. But you look at those last couple matches against better competition, Rodriguez just staying back. He is the defensive midfielder where he's staying back. He's not fine. You're not finding him at the top of the box like you do with so many Manchester City games, and he's ripping shots from top of the box. Fabian Ruiz is the guy getting in more favorable positions. It was the fifth minute of that France match. Ruiz found himself at the end of the ball, probably in the 6-yard box on an open header. Probably should have been on target with that one, but he missed that chance. You don't really find Rodriguez in those situations from open play. So Ruiz definitely more upside and probably a better floor when you get down to it. So there's so many options that you can look at. Cucurella, 4,200 midfield only, obvious sub risk. So not high in my list. Carvajal is 4,600, and he does have the clean sheet bonus, something that Cucurella doesn't have. So who do you want to captain in cash games is probably what I should have started with. So Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal, that's what we're thinking. The usual split. Donnie Elmo did not take any corners in that last game. I don't believe he. Trying to remember, I don't believe he took any free kicks either. According to this, he did not either. So we still got that split between those two guys, Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal. Nico Williams a little more expensive. What is it? Nico Williams is $15K, $13.8K for Yamal. And I think Yamal actually just has the better floor. So the pricing is kind of extreme given what Nico Williams has done the last couple games against France and Germany. He stood out. He did everything in that Georgia game. He was on the ball more. 34 points, pretty much outside of that game. It's been a pretty, he does many other things, just not DFS, just not great DFS things from that role in that left wing. So my lean, if you're going Spain, my lean would be the Yamal captain. If you want England, I don't know if you go Trippier. Trippier captain, 8,100, had negative points in that last game, 45 minutes in range. If Luke Shaw starts, again, this is 60, 70, 80 minutes in range for him. I know he's a lot cheaper. Maybe that can get you more, but what does that get you? That gets you both Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal, maybe Danny Elmo, Foden, Saka kind of a thing. So it gets you more things. I'm just not sure it's actually worth it when you have the minutes concern and that how many set pieces are England actually going to get. The hope with Luke Shaw actually having a good floor would be, okay, Spain get a first half lead. But even then it's like, okay, England maybe are only pressing in the second half. And maybe then that's when Luke Shaw actually goes out. And so Luke Shaw is not my favorite play, is what I'll say. And then you have Foden, who, again, I'm still leaning Spain a little bit. Foden, again, probably the best floor from the England guys. So I think your captain decision will be between Yamal and Foden. If we look at the best floor per 90 minutes through the tournament, we have Yamal. Olmo is up there a lot because his numbers early on were basically as a super sub. And then he racked up pretty good numbers in the third match when Yamal and Nico Williams didn't start. So you got Yamal, Olmo, Ruiz up here. And then there's Foden just above Nico Williams. I mean, notice the pricing here. So, and I don't really think that Saka had that great game 2 games ago. But if you have without set pieces and Cucurella is going to be matched up with him on that side. But I mean, he had that great game against Switzerland, Saka did, in that role. And then he was just kind of negated a little bit there with Nathan Ake on that side. And if you're not getting Saka sending crosses into the box, we already know he's not going to get set pieces. His floor isn't really that great. So I'd say the guys who stand out to me would be Yamal. You want Yamal, you want Foden, and then you kind of go from there. I don't think Nico Williams is a must in cash games. I almost like Fabian Ruiz more than Nico Williams just because he seems to get in more favorable situations to take shots from top of the box. Nico Williams, outside of the Georgia game, has been more of the kind of more creating, kind of more setting up his teammates on that left wing. And he hasn't really been, launching and crosses kind of thing at all, really, throughout the tournament outside of set pieces. Then again, because you probably have the money, you can still play Yamal, you can still play Nico Williams. Olmo, he had a 2-point floor in that last game, and playing in that central role, he's just not going to have crosses. So that's another thing. So really, it's not too complicated when looking at cash games. I would say my favorite captain would be Yamal. Then after him will probably be Phil Foden. Otherwise, like, you can plug all these guys into your lineup. You can get Luke Shaw if you want to plug Luke Shaw in. I'd say I'll give my top 6 cash plays here. It's just kind of a weird showdown. Yamal, Foden, Fabian Ruiz, I'll say Nico Williams because set pieces still mean something. So that's 4. I'll say Saka here just because he still has that role where maybe he, maybe draws a bunch of fouls from Kukurea. Maybe he gets set in crosses. And then probably Declan Rice over Kobe Mano just because he's more likely to go 120. Kobe Mano, probably a sub risk later in the match. So those are probably my 6, though. I do like Danny Carvajal as well if you're strapped for money for some reason. Carvajal would probably be number 6, 7 on that list. Again, if you're strapped for money, maybe go Carvajal over Saka kind of a thing. So those are probably my 6 or 7 guys I would look at in cash games. Then again, do you want to play goalkeepers? Goalkeepers hasn't really worked in the last couple games because there's been these early goals. So how do we want to win tournaments? Is the next question we'll have to answer. The path to a Jordan Pickford captain lineup winning is, I guess, England's defense staying strong for the first 80 minutes of the match, because I think, when it's level again, Spain are going to be on the front foot. Spain are going to look like the better team. Spain are going to have more corners. You're going to need for Pickford to actually work, to Pickford captain actually work. I think you may go, it may be more reasonable to go with a bench player than hoping for a Harry Kane goal, because I take that back. There's always a chance you get Harry Kane goal in the first 20 minutes and then Spain ripping shots and they never find the back of the net. I guess that is a possibility. Maybe England get a goal off the counter. I guess that's a possibility. So if you want to do Pickford and Kane, sure. Maybe throw Saka in it, get Saka over Foden, and this is a first half goal for England, so you're not playing set pieces. Bellingham also always an issue, but I can't play Bellingham personally, though he's going to play every minute. So if that's what you're looking at, go for it. And then John Stones, we'll say John Stones has had a pretty good tournament. So has Mark Gahey. Either one of those guys get the clean sheet bonus. I'll probably stick with Stones, who's more likely to have more passes. And then let's just say Yamal and Nico Williams. Oh, I went pick too many players. No, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, so this one might not be. Look at these goal odds. It was the same as the semifinals, where, okay, the goalkeepers are a little more popular than usual because we have these low implied totals. We're going to get 5% goalkeeper captain, at least for both these guys. So you got to be different in some ways. So maybe that means Cole Palmer instead of Harry Kane. Maybe that means Ollie Watkins instead of Harry Kane. Then that's when you get down to you limiting the duplicates, basically. So you're not competing against so many people. But even then, so I plugged in Pickford, Kane, Saka, Stones, Yamal, Nico Williams, 1,300 left. Seems like a pretty reasonable lineup that shouldn't be too difficult to get to. But, in single entry contests, I wouldn't be surprised if this was not duped. If you're in like the near post or some of these single entry contests, Pickford captain, 1,300 left. Wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't duped. Let's go to Unai Simon for a captain. And I'm going to auto plug in Carvajal just because I like him. And then you can get, if you want Yamal, again, if we just want to base this off of the best floor for Spain, and maybe Morata, again, maybe another game where Morata is not as popular as he should be. Maybe this is the 1-0 or 2-0 game, then like Morata gets the opener and Carvajal gets the assist. Yamal gets a late guaranteed winner with 70, 80 minutes to go. And so we got those 2 goals and you got 19K left. If we get that first half goal, we'll get the Phil Foden set pieces. And then you can pretty much plug in whoever you want. You can get, if you want to go, maybe hope for a bunch of shots from range from Declan Rice, something like that. Maybe Saka, maybe whoever you want from England, or maybe another Spain piece. So there are ways to get different for both goalkeeper captains, and I think that kind of starts with it. Almost starts with Murata. We'll see what his percentage is like because he is where is he at? He's in the same range as Saka. He's a little more expensive than Foden. So probably people, if people only have to pick one from that range, they're probably looking at Foden. So that's a boost. And Harry Kane, most expensive. So there's a couple options for goalkeeper captain. If you think goals, if we're thinking 2-1, 1-1 going to extra time, how can you be different? As I said on prior shows, it's not that difficult to be different because we're going to get so many people captaining the obvious players. We're going to get people captaining Yamal. We're going to keep people captaining Nico Williams, Harry Kane. I don't know about Bellingham. I didn't check percentages on that last one. Phil Foden will be popular. Saka still has that big game in his big game against Switzerland that people will look at to captain him. So those will probably be the most popular ones, but let's say if you wanted to captain Lamine Yamal, he'll probably be the most popular captain. What ways can you get different outside of looking at substitutes? Probably, let's say it's a 2-1 result. Okay, you fade Danny Olmo, you fade Nico Williams, and you get Alvaro Morata. I think Morata will be least popular of Spain's quartet here. So you get Morata in with Yamal, and then Fabian Ruiz, and then one of the defenders, and then you get, instead of Foden, you are getting a Kobe Mainu goal, a Declan Rice goal, maybe a center back goal. Jude Bellingham. I think at this point, Jude Bellingham will be the least popular of this England quartet as well. So based off of that, Bellingham and Morata may be the best tournament plays if you're looking for goals that will be less popular. Captains who will be less popular, I think Bellingham and Morata may be the most likely in that range. As we get into, if you want to talk about subs and the possibility of 120 minutes, again, the Luke Shaw, Kieran Trippier situation is always a thing. You guys get an assist for whoever subs on right there. Cole Palmer seems like he's auto to sub on. And, I mentioned Ivan Toney last game, but Ali Watkins was the preferred sub on in that one. So that one seems kind of risky. But the fact that Ali Watkins got that goal, got to assume now that Ali Watkins is the preferred sub over Ivan Toney. Though, again, Ivan Toney probably preferred on PKs because Ali Watkins was not the main PK taker, or is not the main PK taker at Aston Villa. So I guess that's the main reason Toney was subbing on late in the 115th minute or whatever. So maybe if we get to 80th minute again, maybe Ali Watkins is the guy to come on. So that's what we're looking at with England, and then Spain will be. Just going to look at this last game here. Marino. So Oyarzabal probably for Morata, and then Olmo for maybe, I guess, again, depends what we're looking at with this match. Marino probably on for Olmo unless they're behind goal or something like that. But even then, I think Marino, he did get that late winner against Germany. So Marino, Oyarzabal, probably the guys. And really late, next up, I'd say Ferran Torres would be next up. So that's kind of what we're looking at for subs. Yeah, so that's what we got here. 30 minutes in. It's been, it's kind of a subdued Friday here a little bit. But I went over 2 goalkeeper captain lineups. So I think, I said 2-0. I'll give out another 2-1. I'll give out another 2-1 projection here. I'll do an England one because I've been pretty heavy in Spain here. So let's just do Kobe Mainu has been in some pretty good situations to get a goal. So let's just do a Kobe Mainu captain and see what we can do with it. Kobe Mainu, 5 shots last 3 matches, good enough for me. Captained at 5.7K. So Kobe Mainu gets a goal. Let's say it's Saka's working on the wing. He cuts in. Kobe Mainu is top of the box-ish. and he curls one in, something like that. So Saka with the assist. So that happens. I guess it doesn't even matter when it happens. We're already doing a 2-1 England result. So Kobe, Saka, that's what we got there. We'll get that will be the opener. We'll get a Spain equalizer from. Again, this is gonna be a 50K winner here. So we got to be different than everyone else. Everyone's gonna be playing like Yamal, but let's just get Yamal in for his locked in 12 points, even if he's not involved in a goal or assist. Because if Spain are coming from behind, that means there's gonna be more floor points from these Spanish guys. So I also like Fabian Ruiz in that situation, and I'll say let's do Murata to get that goal for Spain. And okay, so plenty of money here because Kobe Mino is so cheap. This is going to be no extra time here. This is going to be 90 minutes. So I'm not going with 120 minutes. I'm not picking a sub out here. We are going to get a late goal though. This is going to be off the basis of I'm not saying this is a favorite lineup here, but we could go Cole Palmer. Actually, we could go Cole Palmer. Will I though? Will I? I'll say Cole Palmer is an option, but a player who I said I'm not going to be playing is what I'll play. So Kobe Mainu, captain, he gets the opener, assist from Saka. Then we're getting Yamal assist to Murata for the equalizer. We get Fabian Ruiz just ripping shots and setting up teammates. We're getting a 9-point floor from Fabian Ruiz for 7K, which I think should be good enough because we're not going to get too many England floors. And then Bellingham, because Southgate does not sub him out, Bellingham is going to get the winner in the 89th minute. Bellingham will finish with 15 points, and that's where we're at. So that is the winning lineup. That'll win 50K. If you want to play it, go ahead. But because I gave it out, you will be duped. But that's all I got here. RotoWire.com/soccer trial, 48-hour trial. Check out the cheat sheet. I didn't scroll around too much. We get the lineups. We get the odds, anytime goal scorers, goal scoring odds, free kick tracker, player stats, and team stats, as well as team stats against in Euros. We're going to have all this stuff for, again, pretty much all DraftKings contests in the future. We also had the FPL cheat sheet, which this is, but in terms of FPL. Thank you for watching this. You can find me at RotoZdroik. Again, rotowire.com/chat to get into our Discord for any questions. Please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Thank you for watching all these videos throughout the tournament. It'll be a nice, somewhat of a break. Again, I said we're working out projections, but we got Premier League starting in about a week, month from now. Not a week, about a month from now. Otherwise, we have Olympics. I'm actually not certain if we're going to have cheat sheets for the Olympics, but we do have Olympics. There will be Olympics coming up. The Leagues Cup is coming up. Liga MX, MLS are going on this weekend. So a bunch of stuff still happening in the soccer world. The Copa America final also on Sunday. Thank you for watching. Good luck, everyone. Good luck to winning this 50K. And we'll see everyone at some point in the next month, maybe once the Premier League season comes around.